Hello guys, and welcome to Talking News. I have finally got this story down pat. So Andreen McDonald is missing, and I want to go over a few things with you and go over her story real quick. Now this story is a cross between the Kelsey Barrett and the Shanann Watts case, if I had to compare it with anything that I've worked on lately. Miss McDonald is a very successful woman, and in fact, she's migrated from Jamaica to Texas, where she attended UTSA College, and actually become a CEO and owner of her own business. That business was actually an assistant home for the elderly, and it was called Starlight Homes. She was very much into fitness. She was into helping out the community, such as the homeless, feeding the homeless, and just an overall beautiful soul. She's not only beautiful on the inside, she was also a very beautiful woman on the outside. Now, her motto was basically to keep the negative out of your life and don't accept mediocre. Shoot for the stars type of girl. She always was the type of girl to have a big smile on her face. She married Mr. Andreen McDonald, and he is a major for the U.S. Air Force. And, he seemed to be a really proud supporter of his wife, and he seemed to be a very loving family man, just as, Chris Watts was. He seemed to love humor, and his number one thing, like I said, in his life was his family and his wife. And one of his last Facebook posts was, happy wife, happy life. He had actually just turned 40 years old not too long ago. And they were living, the perfect lifestyle. And I wanted to show this clip of the couple.
Andy. No butter me there. They were real puppy shoes. That's right.
The couple live in a large home. It's a pretty nice home. They both have amazing careers, and they have a beautiful daughter, which is the light of both of their lives. But something went wrong along this perfect adventure. And we're fixing to go over that nightmare right now. So March 1st, Miss McDonald did not show up to the gym. She didn't show up for work, which was really strange. And her friends on Friday, March 1st, noticed that it was completely out of her character for her not to show up to the gym. And she is a woman who is very dependable, reliant. She's just not one not to show up on time, much less not at all. So her friends and her mother, I believe, are driving to her home in Brixton, Texas. And one of her friends had actually mentioned that if something ever happened to her, or if she was to disappear, it would be because Andreen McDonald had killed her. Now, around 1 p.m. Friday afternoon, Miss McDonald's mother and friends actually meet deputies at the McDonald's home. Her mother lets in the takes the deputies inside the home. They walked into the master bedroom and then into the bathroom. The deputy noticed that it looked like the bathroom floor had recently been cleaned, and there was a red blood-like substance on the light switch. The substance was later tested and was determined to be actually human blood and hair. They then proceeded to the back of the house when no one could find her, still looking for Miss McDonald, and they noticed a burn pile. It looked as though something had been burned recently. One of McDonald's friends actually took a closer look into the fire pit and found a zipper, in that pit. Soon after, Mr. McDonald arrives at the home while they continued, panning the house and looking for clues. Now, Mr. McDonald tells the police that his wife was at the Baptist Hospital ER being treated. Of course, the police and family look into that and find out that there's nobody there by that name being treated. So the police actually confront Mr. McDonald with that fact and say, we know she's not there. He stated he didn't know where his wife was. He also stated that they got into an argument Thursday night, according to the affidavit. Now, police noticed Saturday afternoon, after McDonald refused to speak with them, that the garage door had been ripped off its tracks. And sometime after that, Mr. McDonald actually got into his car and left the home, where investigators actually followed him to a gun shop. There, he purchased a firearm and a significant amount of ammo. And investigators were watching him the whole time he was making his purchase. But for some reason, McDonald actually rushed out the gun shop, leaving behind his ID and his handgun that he just purchased. But the only thing he had in his hand was his ammo. Nobody knows what that's about. I'm guessing he probably maybe caught on somebody was watching him. During the time that McDonald was at the gun store purchasing a gun, other deputies actually arrived at his home and found, more evidence that might, lean more towards making him a suspect. They actually find a shovel in Miss McDonald's Porsche, which wasn't there during the previous search of their home. Now, they got a second search warrant at some point. It's kind of a mess right now, the timeline. Based off the evidence that they had collected prior and the evidence that was in plain sight. But as Mr. McDonald was in his car leaving the gun shop, they actually detained him with the concern for his mental health state, thinking that he was going to kill himself. They weren't sure. I don't think, in my opinion, which we'll talk about later, that he would need a whole lot of bullets for one suicide. Now, as police are actually searching the house again, they find receipts and things like this. They also find like two 5-gallon gasoline barrels, a hatchet, a heavy-duty trash bags, and the shovel I mentioned before. They also went through the garbage and found receipts for those objects, and they were, torn to shreds. They went into the backyard again, only to find that there was a new burn pile that wasn't there in previous searches. The pit was actually used recently to destroy paper and other items. As police kept searching and they went through the garbage, they found heavy coveralls that appeared to have been worn and a claw hammer which had woody plant debris on it. So, police also noticed that, the shovel has fresh dirt on it, as if it had been used recently. Ultimately, this led to his arrest on Sunday, and so they're using that as a way of tampering with evidence as to reason to arrest Mr. McDonald. Police say that, Mr. McDonald was not offering authorities much help at all in locating his wife. He didn't seem to care to find her. Mr. McDonald was a cyber warfare specialist who has background in engineering. And I think the police think, he was being smart because they said he was kind of smirking and kind of laughing like he got over on everybody. But one of the guys that they interviewed, I can't remember his name right now, say, I think it's pretty evident that we're not joking around with him and he's behind bars. Now, something I did see on his Facebook page was, I seen a glimpse of his sense of humor, and I want to share that clip with you here of a video he posted on his page right before this happened.
On it, baby. You see my phone? Hey, what the hell you out here doing?
Hell, you mean what the fuck I'm out here doing, man? I'm about to set this motherfucking car on fire, man.
What you mean you about to set my car on fire for
Your
what?
goddamn car. I went through your goddamn phone. You and your homegirl texting the shit. Talking about you looking for something new. You find something new.
Duh, I did say find something new. What you mad for?
Out of all these goddamn years, now you talking about you gotta find something new. I ain't do shit to you, man. I said the goddamn car on fire.
What are you talking about? I did say find. I'm not about to leave you. What are you talking about? Baby,
calm down.
I'm talking about finding something new to wear to the Halloween party.
Oh.
And y'all have pouring damn gasoline all on my damn car.
Well, y'all should have said in the goddamn tell thing. You said
you ain't had no business going through my phone in the first place. I said finding something new to wear to the Halloween party for work.
Damn, but I was tripping one.
So what the hell you gonna do with my damn car? Goddamn gas all on it.
Get a water hole, get that shit off.
No.
I'm sorry, man. I thought you talking about fucking leaving
me, man.
What?
And then you done put my damn, what you doing packing my clothes for?
See, I bought these motherfucking clothes. You gonna leave me? You ain't even keeping these goddamn clothes, man.
Man, get my damn clothes out of the car and go clean my damn car off.
Well, it smell like gas, man.
I was out here doing something you ain't got no damn business.
I'm sorry, man.
Now, I really can't imagine what this family's going through, just like the other stories before I've covered. I'm sharing these stories to make people aware that, how people are these days and how dangerous it is. You got to be careful and not trust people so easily. Did their Facebook show any signs of any distress in a relationship? I think maybe there's possibly a very minute tip on his where he says, happy wife, happy life. What he did for a living makes me wonder if he found something through the internet that might have made him jealous. Something that must have set him off, because there didn't seem to be any problems. And as far as we know, nobody's come forward to say there's any major problems other than the one friend that said if she ended up disappearing, her husband killed her. What I'd like to know is what made her believe this, and I'm sure we'll actually hear more about that in the future, but probably not right now while the investigation's pretty hot. Okay, so I want to speculate as to why he might have done this, and I think maybe she's a pretty strong leader type person. He might have felt inferior at times. And, he might have found something or some kind of clue that made him very jealous and put him into a rage. Jealousy can do things to some people. I think that's what happened. And like I said, we'll find out in the future. And another thing with the part where he went to the gun shop to purchase a gun, and they said that he actually purchased, quite a bit of ammo. I'd like more information on that, because if it's a lot of ammo, I don't think he was planning on just killing himself. But I guess for cops to move quick on this case, they probably used that as an excuse. It was, the opportunity was there, and it also helped them to prevent him from getting away with it if he did do this, because they are innocent until proven guilty. I'm thinking we are going to hear a lot more coming out throughout today, maybe this evening, and especially the next few days. So I am glad that they were able to move that fast, because if they didn't, I'm afraid he could have got away with it. You know, at least most of it. So right now they haven't found her body. Like I said, they found a zipper. They didn't say a zipper in a fire. I forgot to finish that sentence, didn't I? They didn't say whether or not they found any type of bone or anything in the, you know, ashes, which I don't think they would share that with us right now anyways, because you would have to send it off for testing, and that takes a while. You know, after seeing the Chris Watch case and the Kelsey Barrett, and you would think that would be, you know, once every 10-year type of case you will see, but it seems to be one after another right now. And seeing it come from families like this, you know, they're the symbol of what perfect family stands for. And seeing that devastation and horror come from something like that is just, it's hard to understand or, you know, believe. I do want to take time to wish these friends and family, you know, give them my condolences and tell them I'm very sorry, and I hope everything works out for these guys. Hopefully, you know, maybe she's still here somewhere, but it doesn't appear that the police think that. So, my best wishes, and I hope everything, you guys are able to get through this and remain strong. Miss McDonald seemed like a beautiful person. So anyways, I'm going to end this right here. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for watching, but please subscribe. I work very hard on these videos, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them. And I will see you soon.